Right, I do believe that we are live, and you should also notice above my head, we should have the live chat running in the background as well. Fingers crossed that works. So, with that said, good morning. Welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. If you can hear me nice and loud and clear, please do let me know in the chat on the left-hand side. Brilliant. And Joanne, yes, thank you very much for spotting that I had the New Zealand time incorrect. And brilliant. Oh, we've got Sir Sean Speed here as well today. Happy days. Right. I can actually see the chat isn't updating in the background, so I'm just going to close off the chat that side and quickly refresh it here. Now, apologies for doing this. It's the first time I've done anything like that, so hopefully that carries on updating in the background. Fingers crossed. If it doesn't, we'll just turn it off. Anyway, on to today's topics. Topic number 1 is live from the flight line. Topic 2 is Jeff's Hobby King giveaway. The next topic which we have is the Clouds update. We are getting really close to getting her finished. Happy days. Another little just a note on twisted cables as well. I know I've mentioned them a few times before, but I am going to mention them again today, because when you get hold of these twisted cables, you will realise the difference in quality. Just a whole new league. We have an old episode of mine actually, back from in June of last year. Pretty damn cool. And we also have a note around the Tirana safety switch. And today we have a live unboxing. So those of you which were trying to guess in the Facebook group yesterday what's in this box, your curiosities will be answered this morning live in here. Right. So with that said, let's get ourselves back to topic number 1, which is live from the flight line. So if you haven't seen this yet, I've lost the live chat window now, which is there. Let me get this right. I'll pop this in the chat there. Let me explain what I'm trying to do. In short, I believe it would be absolutely mental if you could join me on the flight line for a live FPV flight. So imagine that we've got, say, turn the volume down, Wombat! And we take the Wombat up for a spank around. We take it across to T-Boner, go through Dead Man's Arm, down Suicide Straight, and then turn around, come back, and then we skip underneath Suicide Straight, bank off left towards Balls Deep, through the in-shit, through Balls Deep, and then back off across. Imagine you being able to see that live, literally live from the flight line. Now, the thing is, all the technology and all the pieces already exist. We just need to mash them together. So I did pop an episode up on it yesterday, and that's why it was curiosity. Have you seen anybody else doing this? I've seen people playing with it, trying to get there. But the idea is, and it's very simple actually, is that maybe you've got a diversity receiver. We take that AV output, we put that as a input stream into a laptop, and then we broad that as part of OBS, which is the software which I'm using right now, so that you could join me in a live FPV flight. So imagine going head on into a tree in real time with me. You see what I see, you know? I think there's legs in this idea. It cannot be impossible to do. Like I said, all the components are there. It's just taking that AV signal out from the diversity receiver and then getting it to be brought up in some software of some form or another, so that we can do a live stream from the flight line. So this, for me, is a really, really cool idea. I do see this as like the next step on, is that you can literally join me and whoever else I'm flying with on the flight line in real time. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And not only just in real time, to be able to jump on board and see the video signal for which I'm seeing in the goggles. I think there's live FPV. I definitely feel that there's some legs in there. It's got to be doable. Now, with that said, I have 3 different devices on the way to me, hopefully, fingers crossed, today. and if I get it working, happy days. That is going to be super cool. So that's a little project which I've started, and again, if anybody has any suggestions, and I also want to say a massive thank you to everybody who got involved in the comments with that episode yesterday. It's got to be doable. It's just a case of working out how we can do it, and of course once I've figured out how to do it, I'll of course share it over on Ubles so that others can do it as well. I just think this is just a fantastic idea. It should, Gordon says, and what you propose should work. It is. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We just need to be able to get that AV signal and broadcast it live. And yeah, I think that's going to be super, super cool. Next topic is Jeff's giveaway. Now, I'll pop a link to this in the live chat. Obviously, you might want to carry on and watch the rest of today's RC Coffee Chat, but do take a watch of Jeff's Hobby King giveaway. Now, I'll give you a quick warning. You will probably need a pee after Jeff's introduction. As you may tell, I drink quite a lot of coffee and all that running water here in the background. But Jeff has got a shed loader kit to give away, which Hobby King have provided. And yeah, all you need to do is like, comment, and ideally share Jeff's video as well. So the links to that is in the in the live chat. And if you're watching the recorded version, remember all the details are in the description underneath this video. Just press the show more button. And of course, if you've got any questions or comments to go along with this episode, remember you can just leave a comment underneath this video. The next topic which we have is the clouds, the XUAV clouds. Now, yeah, where are we? So I contacted not only Banggood but also XUAV about the packaging because it was absolutely diabolical, just going back a week or two. XUAV have been in contact with Banggood, so they packaged them better. Banggood got back to me and offered me a $30 refund, so I'm a super happy camper because I think I paid about $180. I used $36 off that in points, and then they've taken another $30 off. So I think the model in the end has now cost me, just for the model itself, I hasten to add, has cost me about $99 US, which is happy days. But then don't forget that it's taken 4 decent Corona servos in there, a video transmitter, an L9R. So the video transmitter was 40 quid. The L9R is 32 quid, I think, off the top of my head. The servos are £6 each. The 2 motors, they were $28 each as well, and props to go on top, and a pair of ESCs, which were 15 quid a pop. So it's quickly mounting up on this model. And of course, I will be putting an Eagle Tree Vector in there and a pair of 5200 4S packs. So yeah, model turned out to be pretty cheap in the end due to unforeseen circumstances. But the amount of kit which ends up going into a model like this is kind of hefty. So that was kind of a point which I made to Banggood previously, is that models like this, you end up putting like 2, if not 3 times the amount of the model cost into the actual model if you're going to set it up properly to do FPV, for example. So we are getting there with the XUAV. Now, I would like to say a massive, and I mean a massive, hat tip to Aero FPV. So I'm going to share his YouTube channel, and again, his channel will be in a card in the top left-hand corner up there somewhere. And let me pop this in the chat as well. I genuinely like to say a massive hat tip to Aero FPV. His help along this build has been absolutely fantastic. And again, yesterday I just popped a question up because we got this like hole in the back of the VTEL and said, did you get a cover for this? Because I didn't. Just being able to ask some daft questions to a fellow modeler who has the XUAV clouds. So please do go and take a look at Aero FPV's channel. I've watched pretty much all of his episodes, personally speaking. They're fantastic that you can see on that one there. And he does have the grey full-size Sky Hunter, which I am very jealous of. They don't make those anymore, and I really want a full-size Sky Hunter. They do look absolutely fantastic, and you can still buy them, don't get me wrong, they're just rather expensive at the moment. And obviously we can't get them from any of the typical sites such as Hobby King or Banggood or GearBest, things like that. It's more specialist sites which still have them available. Now, I'm going to leave Aero FPV's channel up on there. In fact, I can make that a little bit bigger. Right, carrying on with the clouds. Right, the wings are almost done. Last night I was working on the wiring loom. Now, this is the one which I've already done. I was kind of hoping to have done the other wing this morning, but I just ran short on time with trying to work out the show notes and have actually just pause to drink a cuppa and get prepared for today. So the other wing's only half done. But you'll see what I've been and done. I've made up a custom wiring loom in here. Now these are these twisted cables there, okay? And you'll notice that this one here has an extra wire in it. So I am buying the 60 centimeter length cables, and I'll put those up on the screen, and there's a link to those in the video description as well. They are absolute fantastic quality. There's 20 little wires in each one of those, 20 little cores inside of each one of those wires. Really, really nice, high quality cables. And my plan is that on the flight line, and again, I've only just played with this, I've got a little bit of glass fiber rod, and the idea is that I can then push this down the little hole in the main part of the wing, and then use that rod there just to push it down through the wing, so that's a simple way of setting it up on the flight line, rather than having connectors here in the wing where space is at a premium and also a potential failure point. I've gone for at least number of connectors as possible, and also trying to keep it to maybe like an under 10-minute setup on the flight line, because I'll just basically have to connect up these wires on the end. And you'll see that I've been in hot glued. I don't know how well that's going to come out on the camera. I've been in hot glued two servo plugs together, so that we've got the signal, and then we've got AV on, because this is the video transmitter side on there. So yeah, only a little bit more work to go with the clouds. As far as laminating goes, I've only need to do the finish off doing the bottom of the opposite wing, and then do the top, and then we're into electronicals. So for example, connecting up servos, get the little tray in there for the Eagle Tree Vector. I do need to solder up and make a XT60 to XT90 connector for the power to go in there. Again, if you think about, I'm basically going to be running 10,000 milliamperes in there, so I will be doing my best to use an XT90 connector to stop the big spark which happens when you connect batteries up like that with that amount of current available. So I'll be using those. And by the way, if you don't know what XT90s are, they are just like XT60s but a little bit bigger, and they've got a tiny little resistor and capacitor in there to take the spark out, so it's like a soft start for them. Very, very cool. And in instances like this where you're going to be dealing with either large battery packs or high voltage battery packs, maybe like 5, 6, 7, 8S and things like that, those connectors will take the spark out, which means that your connectors will last for longer. So we are almost at the home straight on that one. So that is classed as happy days. Now I am going to quickly just look at over the chat some of the names which I can see in there, so I'm going to give you a shout out. And yeah, it doesn't look out like our live chat is working on the screen recorder. Let's see if I can reload that. I do have another one on here. Oh, that one might be updating. I'm just going to leave that one running to see if it updates. It may or may not. I was just playing with that. Oh, look, yeah, it is actually moving. Yay. Okay, apologies if you can't really read that. I will check on this later. So, quick one shout out to Jake, NZ, Peter, Anthony, Richard, Travis, Dija, Anthony, Wayne's there, Jazzy there, Jake's there, and Richard is there as well. So good morning, gents and ladies. I know Joe's there in the background, and Jim as well. If I've missed your name, I do apologise. I can see that the chat's just been scrolling like a possessed badger in the background. All right. So I did mention about the twisted cables. Really, really do rate those. They are much more expensive than just the cheapo ones, but the quality is there on them, and I'm goodness knows how many packs let me just make a point. That's just a small sample of how many packs I've got here. There's another like 5 or 6 packs over in the servos box. They are really, really good, and there's a link to those in the video description. Now, the last topic which there's actually 2 more topics I want to quickly cover this morning. I will post this in the live chat, but it will be out. I'll put this in the video description for you. This is actually a very old episode for me. This is back in June of 2016, and this is my mental Bonsai, only on 3S as well. Now, if you want to skip and just get to the good part, if you go to 4 minutes 17, you will see me trying to pull off a Cuban roll, and I do get rather close to the ground. Yeah, how I didn't stuff it in, nobody knows. Anyway, that's how I used to learn. You'll see me flying around quite low towards the ground, and that's just how I learned so quickly with the hobby. Now, it's not something which I can suggest to you to do. You're supposed to fly 2.5 mistakes high. My view on learning to fly was really straightforward, is that you fly low, and if you make a mistake, the model goes in and you take the model home. So I learned very quickly not to make too many mistakes, but I have been known to do inverted landings, like and then landing. I think I did that with the Wingnetic once as well, and then quickly got the tape out and taped it back up and then threw it again, and I didn't actually stuff the nose in, which was a shocker. Right, you've got another topic on here. There was an episode a couple of days ago which I did about the Tyrannus safety switch. Now, there is a little note on that, is that my setup on my Tyrannus is different to most, okay? And I'd like to explain why it's different to most. So those of you which have come from JR or Futaba, for example, may run ailerons, elevator, throttle, and then rudder, okay? To me, that made absolutely no sense. So what I've done with my transmitter is that I run tear. So I have throttle is channel 1, which is like the nose of the aircraft. But then we have ailerons is the next surface. Then we have elevator, and then rudder is typically the last surface on the model. So I run tear, so T-A-E-R. So if you are going to follow the guide with the Tyrannus on how to make the safety switch up here on the left, is that just note that my throttle is on channel 1. You may need to change that to channel 3 if channel 3 is your throttle channel, or whatever channel you've set your throttle up on. Okay, so, and I've seen other people like using sliders and things like that. I've never made a mistake with the simple switch on the back, and again, that's to do with the sounds on there. I know if she's armed, and I know if she's disarmed as well. Yeah, Gordon, I agree with you. Doesn't everyone run tear? Apparently not. Apparently some people are used to sticking their throttle in channel 3. What on earth is all that about? I don't know. Really weird to me. Throttle for me is channel 1. So yeah. But I did feel it was worth noting that. Now, the topic of the day is that I popped up a photograph of a box in the Facebook group yesterday, and we had something like 90 comments on it, with people trying to guess what was in the box. Now, let's go, and I can't show you this side of the box because it actually says what's in there. And I also do need to go a little bit careful. Just do note it is still sealed. So let's go and crank her open so we can find out what was really in this box. Now, before I open this box, does anybody want to hazard a guess on what's in this box? So let me know in the comments, the live chat which goes along with this one. Can anybody guess what's in this box? Anybody at all? I will pause for a moment because there is a slight little time lag on there. Peter says, no Bruce then, Matt. I'm no idea. I'm not his keeper, Bruce. Sorry, Peter, for it. So if anybody can guess what's in this one. Somebody is very close already. We've got a suggestion of a wing. A mini Drax. Only if it was a mini Drax. Now, that would be classed as happy days. That really would be. So, in fact, I'm going to leave Aero FPVs up running in here in the background. So crash a lot. The second S800 you ordered. No, I only ordered one, and the other one's going off to that one's going off to a new home. So let's go and get. Oh yeah, you've got it. Someone's been a sport here for us. Yes, we do have. Let me get this right. A reflex. So this is TBRC. And personally, I blame Nabil. It is Nabil's fault for sticking up photographs of his on Facebook a couple of days ago. So it doesn't look like we got any paperwork in here, so I think I'm safe. So I'm just going to open up. We've got one big sheet of lamb. We've got, what have we got in here? Aha. Now, I am actually thinking of bucking the trend and not putting yellow stickers on mine. What else have you got in here? Oh, that's a nice touch. I am just open, there's all these bits in this bag and there's some pieces of foam. I will stick that to one side. So, what have we got in here? Hey, that's a cool motor mount. How many times have you seen a motor mount like that? If you look closely, there is little silver bits in there. Not seen one like that before. That is well cool. Right, I am going to stick these bits back in the bag as we go. Looks like we've got a battery bay cover. Oh, we got two little winglets as well. I don't know which model that's for. I'm guessing by the size of it. I don't know. I don't know which wing that's for yet. Stick the cover in there. We get 3 stickers. And again, the reason why we're probably getting extra stickers is because there are not 2 wings in here. One is the reflex, and the other one is an apex, which is the larger. So we got 2 balsa elevons in there. You'll see there's 2 in there as well. Let's move that out of the way and see what else we've got in here. Oh, we got another sticker. Yeah, TBRC Wings. Very, very cool. And what else we got in here? Oh, a part of a fuselage. Oh, there's half of one. And Anthony, you were right. You could definitely fit 2 of these in here. Right, there are some other pieces kicking around there. Just some more core flute, more stickers. Yeah, their website is tbrcwings.com. I'll put that on there as well. And now do note that I actually bought these. They're not sent to me for a review. I've seen other people flying them, and I wanted to give them a whirl, see if they're any good, and see how they stack up. Getting a really nice finish on these. So you don't, all the cutting edges have come off, and literally little to no cleanup required on the wings at all. We've even got the spar hole in there as well. Now I haven't seen a. Oh, there is a spar in a box. I take that back. So this must. Oh, and look at that. All nicely cut out for us straight off the bat. Brilliant. And that's roughly what it looks like. No idea on the wingspan. I'm guessing off the top of my head it's a 38-inch wing. So that's the bigger one. And then we've got a baby one. And there's no weight to this. And the black foam is right up there. I'm trying to work out if it's as dense. No, the 48 feels denser. So the 48 wing from Team Legit, that does feel denser, and I'm guessing that fits on there. I assume that's the battery bay for that one. And then that fits up, and it's a little baby one. So this is about the same size as the Rainbow wing. So should be bloody good fun. Now, those are going to go back in the box. They both need to wait for a while, and we've got some connectors in here, which look like servo control horns and other bits and bobs. Now, both those wings do need to wait for a while. I've got the Team Legit 48 to finish first, and I've also, of course, got the Clouds as well. Pizza says, how much were they? I cannot remember. I genuinely cannot remember. I also do know that I didn't get slapped with import tax with them, which was a bit of a surprise because it did say the value on the front of the box. And there was me a couple of days ago which got slapped with a, what was it, $43 Cobra motor and got slapped for like 15 quid, and this one was considerably more, and I didn't get caught on the import tax. That was happy days. Wayne says, I can see an RC rummage sale one day, and by apologies, I'm looking at the other screen here in the chat, which is going on. They do look absolutely fantastic. Now, like I said, those are going to be a project for a later date. Wanted to get them in so I could have a nose at them, but I do have other models which must be done first. Specifically, the XUAV clouds, which we saw, we were chatting about a few minutes ago, and I also need to finish the Team Legit 48 as well. Now, I am really looking forward to, I know that I've got those two new ones there, but I am really looking forward to the 48 because it's almost like in clouds territory because of just the sheer size of it and the amount of battery we can pack into it. So yeah, the next two models for me, well, the next two which I must finish first is the XUAV clouds, which, like we mentioned earlier, that is getting close to being finished, and also the Team Legit 48 as well. But those two are for a later project, and I also need to get in contact with Nick about some slope soaring wings today as well. Right, with that said, Steve says, earrings or purse for this one? She hasn't mentioned anything about them. So, in the moment, I'm in golden territory at the moment. She hasn't mentioned anything about it. So, I might just hide them underneath the... No, she's already seen them. So, yeah, happy days. Happy days. Right, so on that note, it's time for me to wrap up. I am going to quickly just cover what we've been uncovered today. If you have any questions, please just ask in the chat, which is going on. Matt says, every time you say that, you get 3 more first. Yes, sometimes I do need to change the ordering around on builds. It's just the way it is. Okay, and I also have, you know, I'm trying not to get over like, ooh, new wing syndrome. I'm trying to be methodical, but sometimes, just sometimes, the 12 and 1 3/4-year-old in me goes, ooh, new wing, let's stick it together, I'm going to fly it. And I cannot guarantee that that won't happen. Come on, like, it's a wing, hello. And I might even give it to the wife to make as well, but I don't know yet on that one. So, oh yeah, Peter does say yes. Hobby King did bring out. That's not exactly what Peter wrote, as I'm sure you can see in the chat above. But Hobby King have brought out 3 different coloured Tundras. Tundra. I would really like a Tundra, but I don't feel, for me personally, that £150 is a wise investment in a model which has landing gear. As you know, the vast majority of the models which I fly all have, they're all just bottom landers or bottom feeders. And a model with landing gear would just go take off, turn around, land, take off, turn around, land. And I would just do that repetitively. As such, I don't feel that I would get the ultimate value out of a Tundra, because that's all I would do. Just stick the flaps down and take off, land, and just do that till the battery dies. And obviously, it would be great fun. But also, obviously, we've all seen my flying abilities, and chances are it won't survive very long, so I have to be realistic with that. But I also would like to note with those Tundras is those new wheels. They're all soft and squishy. They do look very, very cool. And yes, Wayne, you are absolutely honest. Yeah, it'll never go fast enough for me as well. The fuse is too big. It's got that funny tail thing with a rudder on it as well. What's all that about? You know what I mean. You know what I mean. So, Rick says, thank God it's not a... Turn the volume down. Wombat! On there as well. So, time for me to go. Thank you ever so much for joining me for today's RC Coffee Chat. To quickly recap, we have... And remember, the links to all these things are in the video description for you. I am investigating doing live FPV footage from the flight line. This idea definitely has legs, and there's nothing quite like for me personally, I think this would be absolutely fantastic for you to be able to join me live on the flight line in one or more flights as well. I think that would be really, really cool. All the tech is there. We just need to mash these things and get these magic pixies to work together so that we can do it. So, like I said, I've got 3 devices on the way to me, potentially a 4th one as well, and we'll get one of them to work. I think that is just like the best idea which I've seen in a long, long time. Really looking forward to that one, as you may tell. Jeff's giveaway. Do not forget about Jeff's Hobby King giveaway. For the sake of going and pressing the like button, and you can see on my screen, well, no, you can't actually, but I have pressed like. I'm the 331st person to press like on your video. Go and have a look at Jeff's giveaway. The link to Jeff's episode is in the video description below for you. A clouds update. Yeah, that model worked out cheaper in the end. But then don't forget the amount of value of the kit, which is having to go into the model and the time to set it up. We are almost getting to the point of putting the electronicals in there, which is happy days. And again, I would like to say a massive, and I genuinely mean this, massive hat tip to Aero FPV. Again, a link to his channel is not only in the video description, but it's in a card in the top left hand corner. Do go and check out some of the flights which he's done. Absolutely fantastic and genuinely really nice guys. So massive plug to Aero FPV this morning. Twisted cables, we mentioned about those. Again, links to these are in the video description. Super good quality. That is what I'm actually using. Oh, that is pretty much, besides the servo wires, that's all I'm now using in my models. Once you start using those, you'll never go back to those really like flimsy. They just feel cheap in comparison. We mentioned about the mental bonsai setup. Yep, that video there skipped to 4 minutes 17. And by the way, I do apologize. There may be adverts in that video. That was one of the ones, and there's adverts in that video because I chose a music track, which is a very good music track, I hasten to add, so nothing too bad about adverts, but there may be adverts in that episode. But if you skip straight through to 4 minutes 17, how close did I get? And that was my, well, she's up there at the moment actually. My first retired model up there, which was I think that was the second bonsai which I had. I've had a few bonsais, put it that way, and when you see that flying, you'll understand why. And how I didn't hit the ground is a whole different question. We also had a note around the Tyrannus safety switch. I run mine tear. Throttle at the front, so motor at the front, ailerons, next step down, elevator, rudder. That just makes logical sense to me, and that's because I'm new to this hobby. We're still relatively new to this hobby, so I know many of you are used to AETR, and you put your throttle in channel 3, whatever that's about. So for me, throttle is channel 1. So if you do follow that video tutorial, is that mine is a slightly different setup. And the last topic which we have a reflex and an apex flying wing here with me as well. Like I said, they're here now, and we'll get those built up at some point in the future. And I'm just quickly on there, just looking at the chat which is going on in the background. Have I missed anything? So, come on, Matt, you would fit a pulse jet to it. Fuel. Oh, that's a topic for a different day about IC and fuel-based models. We did spark off a conversation about that in the Facebook group. In fact, what I'm going to go and do in a few moments' time, I'm going to start a dedicated thread with a poll in there, IC versus electric for IC models. Now, if you have a view on that, nip across to the Facebook group. Now, the link to the Facebook group is in the video description. If you haven't already joined, click on the link, you'll go across to Faceballs, and then on the right hand side, click on the Join Now button, and myself or one of the other nice people in the group will hit the accept button, and then you'll be able to join in with the after party to the RC Coffee Chats. And today's poll, which I will put on there in a few moments, it will be a vote. It'll actually be a freeway vote. IC versus electric, and you can get to share your views, because I know many of you, the sound and the smell of IC just does it for you. And then, I'm going to sit myself on this side of the table. For me, electric has some very positive sides to it. Continuous CG might be a consideration. Ease of use is another. But then on the flip side, jumping back to the other side of the table, there is nothing quite like a model with an engine in it, with the smoke pouring out and ripping up the sky, a new one. Maybe a topic for another day, but I will put a vote in the Facebook group in a few minutes' time. And on that note, it really is time for me to make a move. Thank you ever so much for joining me for today's RC coffee chat. And on that note, from myself, Matt, cheerios!